think am I live now? I think I'm live. Let's see. Yeah, I'm live. Let me go in and look. Your channel. Then I gotta turn down all the volume. I hit the thumbs up. Let me get my chat. Docs, chat. Morning, James. I'm going to turn down Adam Aaron. This guy's a master. If you guys don't know Adam Aaron, he's the CEO of AMC. And he has wound up let's go to FinViz. He has raised so much money. Yeah, by the way, I'll leave that up there. Trend Spider. Morning, Chris. I've got my do not disturb on. Guys, hit the thumbs up. You know what to do. If you're a Howard Stern fan, like Eric the Midget said in his threatening phone call, you know what to do. You know what to do. And if you're on my Twitter, the FTX drama is the greatest Netflix documentary that will ever be made. Pre-prediction. Greatest Netflix documentary that will ever be made. Okay, let me put this. Scans. Visa. I like Visa. I like it under 200. Look at that run you could have had. ARCs are all down about 1%. Pre-market. I expect Tesla's down about 1%. Okay, that's down 30. Let's look at our brokerage holdings if we had any. Nothing on brokerage holdings. Let's look at our watch list. Norwegian Cruise Lines. Wow, that's a high cross up. And it's got that gap down there. I'll put it in here, but I'll explain it. I don't like it. They just had their earnings. Target's coming up with earnings. Morning, Jesse. Let's see. I don't like any of those. Okay. ARC Holdings. Oh, God. See, this is the problem. ARC Holdings on a good day. Anybody buying CoinDesk? I'll go into this when I go into the FTX drama. CoinDesk is a little bit different. CoinDesk is actually semi-regulated. So when you're putting your crypto in CoinDesk, it's not like FTX. Now, full disclosure, I liked FTX. I bought into the Sam Bankman-Fried persona, vegan. But, and I'll say this with all due respect. There seems to have been a certain look that Sam liked with his chief compliance officer. In my mind, the criminal is not necessarily Sam. Criminal are the regulators that he had meetings with. The criminals are the influencers like Mr. Wonderful. What's that? Kevin O'Leary. Meet Kevin. Meet Kevin. He's hitting it head on Twitter. He's like, yeah, I got paid to say that. Well, I got paid to say that. Just because you got paid to say it doesn't mean you didn't do anything wrong, douchebag. Tom Brady. Listen, here's the most amazing thing. Tom Brady is getting divorced, which, if anybody has been through divorce, is the most painful thing. Yes, you hate your spouse. Yes, you can't get along. But still, that breakup period is just so painful. He is losing his $650 million fortune. He also kind of has to worry about his image. And the guy goes out in Germany and just plays one of the greatest games he's ever played, in my mind. I mean, he didn't have a ton of weapons out there, but he did really, really well. Okay, we did the ARC holdings. It is 62 degrees in my house, and I refuse to turn on the heat, although I did. I got up this morning. I came into this office, and it's in the front of the house, so I've got big windows, big picture windows here, and I had to turn on the heat. And I think Jesse's in Maine. Dude, you got my sympathy. I'm just doing scans. Visa. So only 2 scans really came up. Let's do the energy sector. Because you guys know I love the energy sector. We have anybody new out here? Leather fans. Holy crap. Look at the energy sector. I don't like trusts other than master limited partnerships. KLXE. I will start out this live. Wow, that's a kind of a nice chart. God, these things have been try and find an energy name that doesn't. I will start out this podcast with saying, and I know I did a special podcast, I think on Saturday morning. I also put out a little YouTube short on it. TrendSpider is having their Black Friday sale. And the history of this is I started using TrendSpider in, I want to say August or September of 2020. And what happened was Steve and I, my buddy who I was trading with, were kind of trading back and forth, and we had a system down where we knew moving averages and things of that sort, but we didn't have a back testing platform. And both of us had special access with Fidelity because of our brokerage accounts. So we kind of talked to those guys. They had just gotten rid of their back testing, and we said, well, we want to develop something where we take emotion out of the trade. And the key point is emotion, because you guys know, everybody who trades knows, holy crap, emotion runs your trades. So we wanted something that took emotion out of the trade. We got to TrendSpider, and we understood we could back test. We used, you guys have heard me say this all the time. If you don't know it, look up on YouTube. It's called Trading Rush, and look at their MACD. This guy back tests. He looks at it. The MACD strategy that he has is still his greatest thing. He's got a Patreon. I mean, this guy does it right. He monetizes everything. He does everything out in the open. Trading Rush. I love his platform. I love his videos. His videos are super simple, super easy. I think they get a lot of traction. I just don't know. But we found him, and we wanted to backtest. We talked to Fidelity. They didn't have one. Steve and I tried 2 or 3 different charting platforms, and we found TrendSpider just by chance. Wasn't anything that we were looking for, wasn't anything great. That wasn't anything that we were missing per se in the other platforms, but we found TrendSpider, and I think it was August. And we knew we wanted a MACD strategy, and so we spent, I'd say, 3 months. And when I say 3 months, it was 4 or 5 hours a day of, hey, let's try this. Hey, let's try this. Hey, let's try this. 4 to 5 days a week. Neither one of us worked. We had left our jobs. We did everything. Morning, Zephan. And TrendSpider, they were fantastic. They allow you a training, so you can get a training through them. This was at that time. I think they still allow training. But in fact, let's see. What is it? Plans and pricing. Let's go back here. Yeah, the Elite is what you want. That's what I'm paying, by the way, $351. Let's see. Important plan limits, charting features, automated analysis, asset insight. But they gave you some training on this, trading bots, support, training, unlimited. One-on-one training provided by a certified TrendSpider trainer or staff member to show you how to use and customize the platform to fit your needs. That's what we used. We were here in Elite. Okay, I wasn't in Advanced. I was here in Elite. And I think they only gave one session. But TrendSpider, if you're in customer service, I mean, these guys, I used a lot of their strategies when I managed some customer service for Earthlink. So I loved it. But Steve and I did this for about 3 months. Then what happened was their Black Friday sale came up, and we were paying $50 a month for the service. I think it was $50 at that time, was kind of this elite level service. And we were paying $50, and we were pretty happy with it because, FYI, if you can't make, we were heavily trading at that time. And if you can't make $50, you're kind of just, you're what do the My First Million say? You're small boying it. Let's get big boy stuff. Let's bro up here. So they had their Black Friday sale, and we did that. What happened last year was they delayed their Black Friday sale. And so I wanted to renew for a year, but I didn't want to pay the $780. It just was, at that point, it just seemed a little bit expensive. And I was like, Fidelity's coming out with something. And Fidelity does have a freebie. In fact, let me see. Fidelity has fidelity.capitalize.ai. This is, let's see. Yeah, you have my personal email address there. I don't care if you guys email me though. Yeah. So you got this. This is Capitalize. That's the free one. So you have that. And yeah, I'm gonna close that because there'll be annoying pop-ups. But it's just worth it to me for $350. Okay, let me go back to charts. You guys don't care about TrendSpider, obviously. Hit the thumbs up, douchebags. Where's Brittany, bitch? I miss Brittany, bitch. I'm not gonna bring up any energy. This is what we'll do. We'll start the podcast. Where's the podcast? There it is. I'm gonna exit out of here. Full disclosure, I record the podcast in GarageBand. By the way, talking about gapping up, look at our little friend. Let's look up AMD. Look at our little friend. Look at our friend gap up. It's cold as fuck here. Our friend. Let's see. AMC. Adam Aaron was just on. And the dude's still pumping AMC. Part of the reason AMC's up is Black Panther was a huge one. Chase, man, kudos, high five. You know how good this freaking TrendSpider is. Did you get in on the Black Friday sale, Chase? If not, sign up through my link. Sign up for a year. You save a lot of money. And I'll tell you what, it is fantastic. It's unbelievable. Once you trade, and part of what I was going into is they delayed their Black Friday sale last year. I had to go 2 weeks without trading with TrendSpider. Oh my freaking God, I just felt naked. I think the sale goes on until Friday, Jesse. Check it out. And if you're signing up, sign up through that link, man. You guys always want to know how to help me. If you're signing up for it, sign up there. And I know it's $350, and that's a new Xbox. Full disclosure, that's a new Xbox. Chase, sign up for the year, man. I'm telling you, Chase, skip a month. Skip a week. Don't pay it for the week. Just say you're not going to renew for a week. You'll find out. A lot of trading is mental, and we go over. I go over this a lot of times. A lot of it is totally mental with trading. D-Man says it all the time. Hanging in there, can't sell, blah, blah, blah. That's his problem. That's why I said, hey, sell one share of everything. When I get in that state, I do sell one share of everything other than Apple. Did you say HSY? I was going to say, how is HYG going up? Anybody have crypto? Chase, I'm single with no kids. I got commitment issues too. I got 2 dogs though. Let's look at HSY in the. You know what? Here's what I'll do. I'll add it. HSY for Jesse. I'm not going to look at it yet. You guys have to wait. Wait for the podcast. Okay, hit the thumbs up. I'm going to talk about FTX first. And one that's replacing one in the NASDAQ 100 that I found out. Okay. You're going to have to listen to the podcast pitch on TrendSpider again. And I just had oatmeal. Guys, when you hear me go, God, that's annoying. So one of the things I can tell you, I'll wait for the podcast. Good morning. It's Monday, November 14th. I was just telling the guys on YouTube Live and girls. I hope there's girls out there. But I was telling them, if you don't give yourself feedback in life, you're not doing it right. Over the weekend, I listened to a couple of podcasts. My voice grates on me. I just can't stand listening to it. I can't, but I do it to try and get better. If you listen to the first podcast that I did, I'm probably a lot better than I was. At least I hope I am. I believe that I am. But who knows if I actually am. But there's a lot of that I do. And I do a lot of listen. Now, a lot of that stuff. A lot of mental triggers. But I'm trying. I'm working on it. I'll get better. I promise. I try and be entertaining as possible. But sometimes my mind, you guys with ADHD know, your mind just runs a little fast. Speaking of ADHD, let's go over Sam Bankman-Fried and FTX drama. Here is the 30-second version. Sam Bankman-Fried, billionaire, last week, probably poorer than most of us today, still living his best life in a $30 million penthouse that is now up for sale. Essentially what happened, Alameda is his investment arm, and there was a backdoor in the investment in the FTX where if you put your money or your crypto into FTX, he could actually access that and send it out through Alameda. Now, he says it was an honest mistake that they commingled and he didn't know they were commingling. Well, bullshit. Whatever. The guys on, they were tracking his plane down to Argentina. He's under surveillance in the Bahamas, supposedly looking to get to a place like Dubai, which doesn't extradite to the U.S., blah, blah, blah. But there are billions of dollars missing. Billions of dollars missing. If you're an FTX subscriber, you can't get into FTX. There's a lot going on there. There's probably some criminal stuff. Essentially, it was funny because Elon had tweeted out, well, he's the biggest Democratic donor next to George Soros, so he won't get prosecuted. So it's kind of being interesting. Definitely an interesting situation. Here's what you have to know. There probably are other crypto, I don't even want to call them brokerages, because they're basically just housing. The other drama that happened was, so you went to bed on Friday knowing that FTX was probably, in the process of, they were actually process of declaring bankruptcy, that Sam Bankman-Fried probably was not going to say anything for legal purposes, that his compliance officer was this woman who, outside of her looks, I know she's taking a beating for her looks, and, she does look like a little chipmunk, but her voice and her knowledge just come into question. And then you find out that they might be dating, and she's the compliance officer. Then you find out that Kevin O'Leary from Shark Tank fame, Mr. quote-unquote wonderful, who no longer gets that name, says, you know what? There's no other safe place other than FTX, because Sam, if there's anybody, his two parents are compliance officers, so there's no safer place for your money than that. Well, he's going to come out and go, I didn't tell everybody to put all their money in there. Douche, whatever. Don't get me started. But the FTX drama is likely going to bring other things down. What do you do with that? Well, in my mind, I think we start looking at BITI. And the problem is that BITI, you're in this buy at 39. You're up at 43. Look at how it spiked. So I don't want to short this one just yet, because this is a short of the Bitcoin Trust or Bitcoin whatever futures. It does trade on futures. It's not old, so you don't have a 200-day. You have all of these gaps down below, and you don't have a 200-day to kind of tell you. All you have is a 50-day here, and that 50-day even started in July. So it's a brand new ETF. So it's hard for me to tell you, yeah, this is going to go higher, this is going to go lower. We have to use other indicators. I'm so sorry. That's the oatmeal. It's the oatmeal. The cheapness of me not turning on the heat. Yeah, let's get back to it. Sorry. Had to snort. But, yeah, so BITI. There's no real direction here. You do have confirmation above the 9-day. If you're going to trade this one, I would say day trade it. Do not long trade this one. There are too many gaps down below. That doesn't mean this isn't going somewhere to 60 if Bitcoin goes to 11,000, which is what some people think that it will. The FTX drama continues to unfold. It probably will. Still there's still news that we just don't know. So BITI is one to keep an eye on. BITO, on the other hand, the long version of Bitcoin, that is up in pre-market, because Bitcoin's up in pre-market. It's not huge, but it is up in pre-market. So you do have a 200-day in BITO. It is well down there. So, again, pointing towards BITI, if we were to use the RSI and the MACD, we could probably assume that BITI has had a good run and that BITO will probably go for a run at some point in time once it gains its confirmation. So right now you have BITI that's overbought. You have BITO that's completely oversold, but it has no confirmation of coming back right now. So just keep an eye on it. I'd probably trade some of the GBTC and ETH, the Greystone ones. But again, I would probably look at these as, hey, there's better places to put your money. If you want to go into crypto, you can buy the coins. Just remember, if you don't hold your keys and you don't hold those keys, you don't own it. Somebody else owns it, and they're just kind of loaning it to you. And I would suggest cold storage, 100% cold storage. And if you don't know what any of that stuff is that I talked about, you're not qualified to invest in coins. So stay away. Let's talk about the absolute collapse on Friday of healthcare. In fact, let's look at the, what is it? I think it's XLH. No, XLV. Yeah, here it is. XLV. Friday, the healthcare XLV was down fairly significantly. I mean, it went from about, I'd say, close to 136, 137 down to 133, which isn't a big move. But when you talk about year to date and stuff, this has been a fairly good, quote unquote, safe play for the year. You started out at about 139 and you're only down at 133. It's been hugging that 200-day, using that 200-day as support or resistance, depending on which side it's been on. You haven't had a lot of time to trade this one per se, but the algorithm makes you 31% over 1,000 candles versus the actual asset only makes you 18% if you just bought and held. You had 20 positions over 1,000. So it's not a huge volatile stock. You had 55% wins. So more than half the time you actually win. Your average win, though, it's only 4%, 3.58. Your average loss is only 1.1. Right now, you're in this one at 125, and you can see this run from 125 up to 133. You don't have confirmation above the 9-day, but you do have above 21-day. The Bollinger Bands are syncing up. They're cinching, and the question is, where's this one going to go? Well, it's healthcare. It's safety. If we go into a recession, people will flock to safety. So that's where this one probably is going. Specifically, what happened on the Dow was UNH absolutely collapsed. And I'm not going to talk about the fundamentals. We can go to FinViz and we can look at the articles as to why. This is a super expensive healthcare stock. The PE is 25. Year to date, it's up 3.97%, so it's not up huge. The actual price targets are between 561 and 575. Those are the two that were made this year. You can look at some of the stocks, the 3 Dow stocks you can buy without any hesitation from Motley Fool. You can look at all that stuff on FinViz. I want to talk about the chart because this chart got you out with a slight 0.11% gain. But you were way up here at 550 and you were overbought. It's now sinking down. The next catalyst is the ex-dividend date on December 2nd. I continue to say anything close to $500 per share is a buy in this one. You can clearly see that this gap right here was filled on the way up, but it was in this gully. And so you've got this almost just this downward pattern. It's not even a head and shoulders, although you could be forming a head and shoulders. This could be the left shoulder. This could be the head. And then all of a sudden you're coming over here to another shoulder. That could happen. You've got a clear volume shelf here at 520, about 522, 525. Let's move it back a little bit. 518 to 524. It's trading right now in pre-market. Let's go over to Active Trader Pro. Let me look at it real quick just to tell you exactly where it's trading because it should see a pretty good up day. Not quite great, but at 524. It closed at 522. So you're up $2. The bid, though, is at 522, so it's just probably it doesn't have any pre-market. The 10-day volume is 3.3 million. The 90-day volume is 2.6 million. So you do have some pretty good volume indication on this one. UNH, I continue to say this one as well as Costco are two that I don't personally own that I want to add to my my portfolio, but I just haven't. And Costco, I'd say anything below $500, absolutely you should buy this. You can clearly see that this one's going. There's a gap up here between 531 and 537. At some point, you're trading it right now at 515. You had a buy last week at 505. So I'd say you continue this bull run right here, although you are fairly high on the RSI at 65. The catalyst is December 8th. Their earnings are coming up. Costco's a great, well-run company. They make all of their money on membership fees. You'll be able to hear some about their Black Friday stuff. I think that'll be a good stock to buy into the holidays, because I do think that Costco is probably one that in the holidays will get pushed up. Look at last year, right before the holidays, their December 9th earnings, they went up, and then they crashed in January just like everybody else. So it wasn't anything with the market. In their October run last year, they went from about 450 all the way up to 546. It was a 20% gain on the algorithm. So I would assume that you would probably hit more towards this 560, 580 in a continued good market. Caveat is continued good market. And remember, the strategy that I entail is if you buy a stock at 515, say you buy it when it opens at 515, you don't mind holding this. You can get out with a 5% loss if that's what your stop loss is, if it goes down to about 500. But if you just want to hold it, you can. It's a great company with great earnings. So I like that one. Another one that came up, Enphase, ENPH. This is interesting because Enphase Energy will replace Okta, OKTA, in the NASDAQ 100 for the QQQ before the markets open on Monday, before the markets open today. So this one should get a fairly good buy, and that probably is the reason it went from 249 up to 300. You had a buy on Friday, 308.25. Let me check in Active Trader Pro what it's trading at today. It's trading at 300 pre-market. So you're at close to all-time or 52-week highs. Your 52-week high is 324 on September 8th. If we go over here to FinViz, ENPH, it is fairly, well, I shouldn't even say fairly. It is super expensive. This is a solar company. They are up 60% year to date. I believe they make the actual panels that are sold in the U.S. So, the micro inverter. So everybody who has solar needs Enphase. I think there's one smaller competitor. It's a super volatile stock. You do have your 52-week high. You're 10% below your 52-week high. Your 52-week low is 157 below 113. If you bought this at 113 and you decide, hey, I'm going to sell out of this one, you're crazy. It is super, super expensive with the PE being 142. That's the real problem with this stock. It's not that its growth isn't going to be there. The growth is going to continue to be there. In fact, on Friday, I got a message from one listener, hey, Boyle got killed because Biden said he'd be willing to work with the Republicans on everything other than climate change. Well, Enphase is part of climate change. Again, putting solar panels on your roof. Anybody doing a solar farm, they need Enphase. So I think 300 is that pivot point. In the pre-market, since you're at 300, I'd say get at least a 290 handle on this one. You did have the buy-in at 308. I think you're ready for this one to quote-unquote take off. Here's what the algorithm does. The algorithm doesn't do you any good. Buying and holding does you good. But up here at 52-week highs, I'd probably say trade it. The algorithm makes you 28% versus 145% with buying and holding. During the 1,000 candles, you had 30 positions. 30% were winners. The average win is 21%. You can see back here in July when they announced earnings, you had a 32% gain, which you could have taken it even more. And then, boom, you had another gain even after that when it got you out and then back in. You dip down here to the 200-day. You're going to use that 200-day as the support level. So I would say if you're buying here at 290 and it starts to go down, I would say anything between 290 and 260 is probably the sell range, 268. So I do think that you have an opportunity there to get in. And again, it's replacing Okta. By the way, Okta, if we just take as good as Enphase looks, Okta looks that bad. It back in August with the June run kind of went up against the 200-day, but this is a software company. I've traded it in the past. You can make some pretty good gains on this one if you watched it, but that was before January. Now it's just been a ski slope. This is a Kathy Woods style stock. So natural gas is up pre-market. We looked at Boyle in Active Trader Pro. I think it was trading close to 40. I think 40 is your pivot point. Anything under 40, you can buy anything over 40. I think you look to sell it. Boyle did not have a cross up. Let's look at the MACD real quick on this one. It's got a cross down. So KOLD probably. Let's look at a KOLD, which one it really points you towards. But again, you're heading into winter. It's freezing cold out. It's 62 degrees in my house right now, and me being cheap, I refuse to turn on the heat because the sun will warm me up. KOLD had a cross up here at 1812 on Friday. So you're trading at 1775. I don't know that I'd necessarily think that KOLD is going to go on another run. You can clearly see that 200-day, it's trading right at the 200-day. If for some reason natural gas is going to go down, which I can't imagine it goes down, but historically it is trading really high right now. So I would day trade these. I wouldn't. Again, these are traded on the futures, so you're not actually buying anything of value. Just be aware of that. You're not buying anything of value. There was a trader who posted 4 or 5 little supports. Tesla, she said, looks like it's heading back to 200 to 220 for the consolidation, watching under 190 for lower. She's probably right. We talk about the button hook up top. You can look at the button hook here. I still say at some point this goes back to 138. I think Elon is going to have to continue to sell some stock. If we look at the insiders here, we see he sold $2 billion worth on November 4th, $1.1 billion worth on November 7th, and then $843 million on November 8th. Maybe he's done. But clearly that's what's pushing this stock down. Also, there's some China issues with China demand with Tesla. You've got this gap up here between 257 and 265. That is the most recent gap that hasn't been filled. And that's right at the 200-day. I think if we start to see a pretty good move up, I think this one's volatile enough that you could see it cover that. But it's a trade. Since I think that there's a gap that's still held down there at 130 somewhere. And I think it's on the weekly chart. It might be on the daily. But I still think that you just have no confirmation in this one. Mind you, the algorithm does not have you in. It's got a button hook down on the bottom. If you're risky, you can kind of look at it. But see this on the daily back here from November 2020. You've still got this 136 to 142. And in my mind, with that little button hook down there, it's not enough of a confirmation for me to say, yeah, let's go in and buy it. So if it breaks 190, don't buy it. If you can see it going above 200 today on a daily basis, she's saying 200 to 220 is the consolidation. So if you move up to 220, you got your 10%. You can get your 10% out. There is no dividend in that one, so you can take it. SPY, she's saying it's moving more towards the 400 for continuation. It traded at 398 pre-market. It's still kind of, it's just flat. It's not moving up anywhere. I don't trade SPY, but I use SPY to kind of determine the direction of the market. And look at the direction of the market. You're just on the north end of that Bollinger Band. Your RSI is at 68. We're oversold. Do you move down? If you do move down, there's a good volume shelf here at 385. I think that's where you're moving down to. 398 to 385, not a huge move, but enough of a move that it would probably take some people out and maybe make some people put more money in because it's healthy for the market to pull back. Apple, over one. She's saying if it stays over 150, look for continuation. Now it's at 148. We had a buy-in on Friday at 145. I say anything with 140 handle, you're doing really well. Anything with a 130 handle, oh my God, you're a legend. Anything with a 120 handle, I mean, just put on the crown. Become King Charles at that point. Because anything at the 120 level, you're making a ton of money on that one in the long run, I think. Again, everybody says, every smart person says, do not have a lot of your portfolio, more than 5% of your portfolio in one stock. I think this is 50% of my portfolio, 35 to 50. That's what I think. It changes. I don't even look at it. You guys know I don't sell Apple. I just buy it. We did get dividends last week. I reinvest my dividends, so I bought more. Bought more at about probably 140, November 4th. In fact, I can look it up. Don't need to look it up. Apple, I just don't buy. But she says anything over 150, and I do trust her. I've watched this. She knows what she's talking about. AMD pre-market, you're soaring. You're up 3%, 75. Go and check out FinViz, see what it is. You guys know AMD's multiple. Its PE is at 43. It's up there, but you look at NVIDIA, which came out last week and said they have a way of making chips for China that don't threaten national security. Their PE is at 53. So your AMD PE is kind of getting more towards NVIDIA. As those two PEs shrink, I would say put your money in NVIDIA because I think NVIDIA has more of a chance of coming back with the quote-unquote hype play. AMD has a little bit bigger of a dividend, but it is what it is. If you want to really invest in chips, I think Qualcomm's going to come back. 121, you're right in this gap. I say galley. Look at that. The trend line on FinViz, you're right down here on this bottom one, down to about 100. Your top is 137. I think right here at 120, I think you could easily go back to this top. You can see it's providing some pretty good resistance on the daily, but I do think that you're trending back up here to 137, which again, you're going to make your 10% on. You're 37% below your 52-week high of 193. You're 19% above your 52-week low. All the while, you've got a 2.4% dividend. So it's good. I like this one. I really do like this one. My weekly stock, his weekly pick is Caterpillar, which I like. My only fear is look at the chart. The chart has gone crazy on Caterpillar. Caterpillar has become just a Wall Street favorite. It's not a retail favorite, although it probably should be. Look, they announced record earnings, $3.95. You can go on FinViz and look at this one. The algorithm had us buy in here at 165. Look at that. I mean, I didn't bring this up. I'm not taking credit for this one because I have no idea where in the world this one came from. Caterpillar, their Dow stock, it is crazy good. This is this little purple line. TrendSpider does this. This is their expectation of where it's going. I've never seen it down. And the reason is because look at how high it's running. The RSI is continually above 70 here for since probably their earnings on October 27th. So I wouldn't expect this one to continue running. You've got volume shelf here at 197. I think this one's coming back down to 200. His weekly pick is Caterpillar. He's not big on it. He's semi-solid on this one. Remember, his strategy is he's got to pick the Dow. I believe it's the Dow stocks, but he's got very large cap stocks. So he's got a limited algorithm where it just looks at specific stocks. And he is basically is able to tell where it's going to go. If you go to his website, there is a significant gain on his options plays that he does each week based on these stock picks. So one other one that I want to bring up, and I'll keep it short because we do have Target earnings tomorrow, and listen to Fridays. A lot of you guys didn't, I think, listen to Fridays, but Friday's show was a good one. You can look at all the earnings this week: Target, Walmart, Zim, some of the shippers, Lowe's, Home Depot, TJ Maxx, Nvidia, Cisco, Sonos, Bed Bath & Beyond. Bed Bath & Body Works, same freaking store. Baba, Macy's, Pan W. You got all of those. But one other one that I wanted to bring up was an email. If you guys don't know, my father is a subscriber to Motley Fool. I am a believer in Motley Fool in that they pick some good stocks. They're no different than Cathie Wood's. If you looked at their performance, they're probably similar to Cathie Wood's in the ARK funds. They got lucky with Netflix. They got lucky with Amazon. They had crazy bull runs. I want to say the two founders make somewhere near like $10, $15 million a year. They make a lot of money. My father pays way too much money for this service, but they send out an email. Latest recommendation: shortly after our regular scheduled monthly recommendation was revealed, internet performance and security platform Cloudflare reported its third quarter results. The stock dropped by nearly 25% over the next 4 market days, followed by a 40% upswing within the last 2. While short-term volatility can be expected for many of the stock advisor recommendations, the team sees a long-term opportunity to pick up shares of a company with a growing footprint in content delivery services and zero-trust cybersecurity. So here's what they're talking about. Their earnings came out, and you saw a huge dip. We had a Friday cross-up at $47.95. Let's see where you're trading right now. You are trading, and by the way, all cloud stocks just got a huge upturn last week. You're trading at about $52.50 in the pre-market. The cross-up was at $47.95. Because of the volatility, because of all of these gaps up, I would say if cloud stocks are continuing to run, anything with under 50 is a good buy. Obviously you would have wanted to get here in the 30s, and now you're close to 60 within a couple of days. There's clear support up here on the 200-day at 56. So I wouldn't buy anything in the 50s because I do think you're going to use this $56 200-day as a resistance level. I would say anything that you're going to buy, you would buy in the 40s. Closer to 45 would be better. I just don't know with this market if that's where we're going. But Cloudflare is one that came up. It had a cross up. It was interesting to me. I think, again, you can take your pick. If we go over here to FinViz, they're not making money. Their forward PE is 355. Again, this is a Cathie Wood style stock. And you can clearly see on FinViz, on the daily, they have a double bottom right here about 40. But I would say in the short term, if you wanted to trade this one, I think that 56 level, as long as cloud stocks continue to go up and we continue to have a bull rally, I do think that 56 level is going to be your top resistance level. I think these other gaps get filled at some point in time. I just don't know when. But you can see clearly on earnings, this has just been a catalyst. Earnings have been the big catalyst. And outside of earnings, you've just kind of been going down. You've just kind of been going wherever. It hasn't really, done anything too grandiose. Let's pull this. There's the most recent. Clearly, you can see that most people who are held up from the last earnings pop back in August, where you were selling at 75, they're holding up here at 56. So on the way down, you're at 40. So I think anything between 40 and 50, buy it, hoping that it goes back up to 56. But just know, it is super expensive, and you got a double bottom here, which provides you support at 40. So I would say if you buy at 50, 45 should be your stop loss. That's 10% loss. Just get out because you'll probably go down to 40. Scans, Visa. I like Visa. Things are opening up. I've got Visa cards. You guys probably have Visa cards. 204.94. Problem is you have this gap. It's below the 200-day. You do have this gap. The last run we had was October 14th, 183. It got you out on Friday with a 10% gain. But if you think that we're still in a bull market and things are going to go up, and which I kind of tend to think that we do, because Tom Lee was on CNBC on Friday talking about it. There are some catalysts out there that scare me, specifically the crypto stuff. But if you've got, remember I talked about it last week, I think it was Thursday or Friday. If you've got crypto crashing and you've got all of that money being taken out of the market, that's doing the Fed's work. The Fed wants to take all of that speculative money out of the market. They want to crash it. They don't want people putting their money in there because that creates this bubble. And so if you pop those bubbles, the Fed's less likely to continue to raise their rates, even though I think it was Waller came out over the weekend saying the market's just overreacting. We're going to still knock down inflation, and we're not done yet. So Visa is one that, again, 204.94. I think you're trading around that area in pre-market. Another one that popped up that I want to show you, I don't necessarily recommend this one, is NCLH. And this is one that has gone for a run. And it is continuing its run because it just had its secondary cross up. You had a cross up here at 1242. You're at 1786 right now. And you had a secondary cross up. Even though the RSI never really got below that 50 point, it did slightly here at 48 on, looks like Thursday, but it's completely oversold. It's got its run. You've got this gap here that's going to probably be filled on the way down back at 13. You've got a gap down here at 16. Again, you're at 1786. When you take a long term on this one, let's look at the daily. It's using that 200 day. It's just broken through there. The last time it broke through there was November of last year. It's been using that 200 day as its resistance level, but it's broken through. I read this weekend there's some ship out there. I don't know whose ship it is. It just docked in Australia in Sydney with 800 cases of COVID. And there were like the hazmat guys taking people on and off. So I'm not going on a cruise. I did go on that Virgin cruise. And I'm not going on a cruise just because I don't like cruising. But cruisers love it, man. Cruisers they'll eat that crap up all day. One that Jesse asked for was Hershey. I think there's other people that asked for stuff, but I'll look. I just didn't write it down. Hershey. This is an interesting one, Jesse. The algorithm makes you 12% versus buying and holding makes you 39%. 28 positions, you win 46% of the time. So it's almost 50-50 that you win. Your average win is only 3.3%. Your earnings came out. So let's look. HSY. Full disclosure, I don't buy candy bars. You know what I do? I buy chocolate chips, just a ton of chocolate chips. I cut the corner out of the bag, and I throw the fucking chocolate chips down into my throat, and I eat the full bag of chocolate chips. It's like $2 for a full bag of chocolate chips versus like a Snickers bar or something like that is like $2 just for the bar. F that. Again, I'm a guy, 62 degrees. I'm not turning on my heat, so live the way you want to live. Their PE is expensive. It's 33, so it could come down. You got a 1.89% dividend. You have, you're up 13% year to date. Interesting. You're only 9% off your 52-week high, which is 241. So you're at 218. It's a slider. It hasn't gotten a MACD cross up. Their next catalyst is the dividend date on November 17th, which is coming up later this week. You do have volume. Interesting that you're seeing an increase in volume there. But that MACD is nowhere close to even in the way up. But it is beaten down. Could be a trade. I'll put it on the list. I'll put it on my watch list. We're going to add this. And if you want to see how to do this, you basically go to your, you go to star here and then not owned. Boom. Now I've got Hershey on my watch list on TrendSpider. Again, remember, TrendSpider 65% off. Link in the description. Hit the thumbs up, like, and subscribe. I'm an influencer. Official. That's it for today. If you have any questions, hit me up on the socials. I'm keeping it short, keeping it tight, keeping it, staying on YouTube, maybe do some trading. But I am closing before Jim Cramer gets on my complete nerves. By the way, Jim Cramer, if you want to see just how bad the guy is, look at, I posted on Twitter, there's a video of Jim Cramer first calling Sam Bankman-Fried the JP Morgan of our time, which we know he is now a criminal. He called Elizabeth Holmes. Listen, I don't like to do this. I don't normally do it, but I think you're like Steve Jobs. That's what he said. That's what he said. Elizabeth Holmes, yeah, I might be Steve Jobs, in that Herman Munster voice of hers. And there are others during his Goldman Sachs years where he'd say, yeah, I'd take $5 million, and if I'm short on this thing, then I might hype it, just put some bad news out there with $5 million. I could move the stock. These days, you got a little more liquidity in the market, so it might take $10 million. It's really not that much money. So, douchebag. He is not your friend. Do not pay $600 a year. I'll give you any tip that he has. I will look at it. I'm on the inverse. And by the way, look at inverse. Inverse is killing it this year. Futures down. I think we're going to wind this week up. But I think today you're just going to see it kind of wobble. What's that song I always use on Instagram? Like my money, wiggle, wiggle. I forget it. But either way, hit me up on the socials. Let me know if you have any questions. Thanks, you guys. Rate the podcast, too. I noticed some new ratings, not on Apple. I think there's only 5 on Apple. But Spotify has quite a bit, I think. And we're 4.8. I think some people rated me as 0. But, hey, I'm a hero for the 0. Whatever. Okay, under 40 minutes. Take care. See you guys later. I'll be on YouTube, so subscribe over there. Watch me over there. See ya. Okay. Export. I figured out I probably need coffee before I do this. I'm much more vibrant with coffee. And I read online 2 things I did this morning. One, I unsuspended my driver's license, which I had no idea it was suspended. Yeah, I'm brilliant that way. I got a super speeder ticket. I never got something in the mail, so I looked it up online. Well, when you get a super speeder ticket, you got to pay the DMV $200. They don't send you anything. They just tell you, hey, you're supposed to go on DMV. Well, I got suspended, so I unsuspended my driver's license. Second thing, I had some oatmeal. So I was like, okay, you guys know. I said, that kind of thing. Well, it says eat an apple. So I ate an apple. Didn't freaking work. Whatever. Jesse, nice job on Hershey. What scares me on Hershey is it breaking that 200-day. I mean, last time it broke the 200-day, you had a good move. You got out with 1%, but shit. If you bought down here at about 200 and sold at 220, there's your 10%. Just the algorithm isn't fast enough on this one. It's only got a beta score of, it doesn't show me beta, 0.32. Closer to 1 is where it's super volatile. It's my understanding of the beta score on TrendSpider. But I added it to the watch list, so when it triggers up. By the way, you want to see another cool thing? So here, I've got my alerts. Can you guys see this? Let me see. No, let me do this. I'll show you this. So over here, I have my alerts. I have DRV and DRN. Well, I'm looking at Hershey. Let me say I want to do a buy the next time the MACD, and that's what this is. This is just MACD cross-ups on the 4-hour chart. But let's say I want to trigger that. Well, what I do is go over here and I go clone and see just a MACD cross-up signal. And I'm going to change this to HSY, MACD cross-up, and it's a buy, and create alert. Shows up over here. Now you know what's going to happen? Boom. When this thing crosses up on the MACD, let's I'm going to zoom in for you a little bit like I like to. Look, boom. When it crosses up, I get a text. It's at either 1:30 or 4 o'clock. Those are the two texts that I alert. But that's what's great about TrendSpider is you get one of those. Home Depot, yeah. I like Lowe's more. And so here's the difference between Home Depot and Lowe's. Home Depot contractors use. My neighbor, he's a product manager. I think he's actually a director for Home Depot. If you guys don't know, Home Depot is based here in Atlanta. But he's pretty big in the world of Home Depot. And he explained to me Home Depot has a much larger concentration of the pros, meaning contractors. Lowe's is more homeowners. If you go to Home Depot and Lowe's, if you actually look at the two, my belief is that I save more money at Lowe's than I do at Home Depot. It's cheap me looking at it. So let's see. You had this cross up here at 308. You're trading at 314. It's trading upside of the Bollinger Bands. My guess is, see how it did into earnings last time? It popped on earnings. Look at that earnings play right there. 505. What are they expecting? It doesn't tell me their expectation. But you're upside of that Bollinger Band. Look at what it did last time on the earnings. Let's see there. Multiple bottom, 270. You are 25% off your 52-week high of 420. You're 19% above 52-week low of 264. You're 24% down year to date. The PE is 19. Let's look at Lowe's. Your PE is 16. You have a 2% dividend. Home Depot's, I think they're less. 2.41. So they're slightly higher. But Lowe's, you're 20% off. You don't have the multiple bottom here. You're just within this trading range. You're 19% down year to date. So take your pick. I mean, I'm not super excited about either one, but I will say that I think if I look at Home Depot and I look at Lowe's, see, they're both outside on top of that Bollinger Band. You had cross-ups at 188. This one's at 209. Holy crap. This was a run. Yeah. Covered that gap. Let's see if there's gaps back here. Last time it crossed up this high was right around the last earnings. And then you saw the downturn of August, and then the downturn of September, and then downturn of October. And then you've seen the downturn of November. Is this the uptick? By the way, anybody like this T-Mobile CEO who says, Elon, I think you should let me run Twitter? And then Jim Cramer comes out and says it. And Elon knows inverse always wins. He said, nope, I don't like Jim Cramer. I agree with Elon. Yeah. Elon, they're highlighting on CNBC now, Jim Cramer loves that Elon responded to him. Make no mistake about it. Jim Cramer, even though Elon said, you're basically, if Elon could have talked, it was, you're a moron. You don't know what you're talking about. Jim Cramer loves that Elon responded to him. So, okay. I'm going into Anchor. I'm posting this. And then I'm going to go out. My fat ass needs to go for a run because I sat on the couch all day yesterday and watched football. And when I say all day, I mean Tom Brady had me with Geno Smith in Germany. And then after that, It was the Red Zone channel for the 1 o'clock games, and then the Red Zone channel for the 4 o'clock games. What's this one? Oh, I don't like that one. Swapping tubes. Walking shoes. Gray Joe. That's not a nice one. Cheerful. I've used that one before. Dun, 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 dun. I like that one. The Zeppelin. I like Zeppelin. That reminds me of, if you guys haven't heard the podcast for the New York Times. It's called The Daily. I like it. I don't care what your political affiliation is, but the New York Times does have a pretty good podcast. I'm also going to we're going to put that in. We're going to go to TrendSpider. We're going to put in this. You know what? Let's see. Copy. Update episode. Thank you, Joe. Daily is way more well produced than mine. Let's see. And pH. Okay, market update 11/14/22. Okay, let's see. Oh, stop. We're just going to put in our notes. I'm going to do this. Okay, who's got... I'm still posting this damn thing. SOXL. Still like SOXL. Am I up or down? Let's see. I'm probably down. SOXL is down. SOXS is up. Yeah, I'm down 1.22%, which is higher than the markets. So I'm underperforming the markets. But it's all Apple. Oh, wait, that was Tesla that I was looking at. Look at this mofo. Oh, God. 2-week highs. I hate active trade. For some reason, I need to reinstall it. Let me finish this up. Earnings this week: Target, Walmart, Zim, Starbucks, Lowe's, HT, TJ Maxx, Nvidia, Sonos, BBW, UNH. Down big. Enphase Energy will replace Okta. This is what I have to do. Copy link. Let's do this. We're going to FTX drama. We went over Boyle, KOLD, Tesla, Apple, AMD is Cat, Motley Fool, Net, Scans, Visa, NCLA, HSY for Jesse. Publish now. Do any of you guys on YouTube Live ever listen to the freaking podcast? I don't know why you would, but I should ask. Just in case it's something you guys do. Lord knows I would not do it, so I mean, if I listen to something, I listen to it, but if I sit there and listen on YouTube Live, it's not like I'm going back to listen on this. And I did read, there's a new social media platform called Matador or something that I was going to join. Yeah. It's okay, Joe. I need watch hours on YouTube and so I can monetize this at some point in time. Either place. By the way, remember, if TQQQ goes under 20, you should buy. SPY, Apple, AMD, CatNet. It's just, we're going to take one more out. Okay. We're going to do these. Oh. And tweet. Twitter. Boom, boom. Now let's go over here. Most actives. Let's see if it pulls them up. Oh, come on. As long as you made money, James. Last week was pretty solid week. Oh, man. Why are you doing this to me? After Trader Pro? No. I think I need to reinstall it. I'm just glad I wasn't driving up to New Jersey and found out in little Podunk, West Virginia, when I get pulled over for doing 120, that my license was suspended. That was what I thought about last night when I woke up. Yeah, that wasn't fun. I think KOLD, honestly, I'm going to take a look at it. Okay, let me let this load. I said load. Anybody have access to Paramount? Should I subscribe to get the new Beavis and Butthead? I think that's where you get the new Beavis and Butthead. I am such a Mike Judge fan. Silicon Valley is one of my favorite shows ever. I'd say Silicon Valley, Seinfeld, Office. Anything else? Okay. I'm just posting the most... volume movers. Highest social sentiment. Let's look at highest social sentiment. And of course they should. There it is. This might be interesting. CSAI, INMB, RDHL, Lumo, PLX, Sundial. Did you guys ever trade Sundial? I have. Most actives. SOXL, AMD, no, I already did. AMC, Neo, XPEV, Tesla I did on the last one, Amazon, BBD, GOEV, that's Canoe, Baba, CCL, Tilray, Nvidia, Vail, FXI. That's it. Okay. I am going to tweet and then I'm done. Not yet today. Let me go back and I was just doing... Welcome, by the way, Al. Al Jr. Doesn't the... So the owner of the Raiders is named Mark Davis. He was Al Davis's... I thought there was an Al Jr. You don't own the Raiders, do you, Al? I put you guys as my defense yesterday. Because who would have thought Matt Ryan would even be able to throw a freaking ball? Jeff Saturday, who coached high school football, has a better record, has a 100% win rate as a head coach. Last week with John Oliver. Rick was on there last week. Let's see what's going on Twitter. See, okay. Maybe I should put this chick as my yeah. I think this is what's called a thirst trap. Remember, I'm a boomer, so you guys can probably fill me in, but this is a thirst trap. Yeah. I agree with Yao. I wish you owned the Raiders, man. Then you can get me. I actually open and candid conversation with President Xi. Did the markets move? They did. The Dow went up a little bit, it looks like. VXX. Who just hit like? I'm going to look at. Oh, there's my weekly stock guy. If you guys aren't following, by the way, go and follow him. You guys really need to follow him on Twitter. And go to his weekly Substack about. I think I've shown this before. But if you go down here, here's his trading strategy. Mega cap stocks and options, momentum strategy based on his proprietary algorithm. He's got an algorithm just like me. Probably a better one than I do. He tracks his performance. So here, January 2019, his performance is 426 versus an 80% gain of S&P. He hasn't updated it in a while. But here, if you go to his past performance, here's his annual performance. So he's up 9. By the way, that 9%, you guys may say, oh my God, that sucks. I'm down 30% this year. I'd fucking take a 9% gain. Fantastic. No, I don't want to read it first. No. He wants me to. No. How do I get there? Options trading. This is what I want to see. Why does he make me sign in? I think he does. No, I think I'm daily stock pick 3 at gmail.com. Okay. I'm going to move you guys over here just in case. I have to sign in with my Gmail. But I'm going to show you his performance because I'm super impressed. Like super, super impressed. Scott just messaged me on LinkedIn. That probably means I have to sign in. Sign in now. No. No. Okay, here's where we are. Boom, boom, boom. I can go back now. Safari view. Here's what I wanted to show you. Your account is all set up. Our trades. Where's the weekly performance? Where the hell is his performance? See, this is why I hate getting out. Annual performance. Options to read about our trading approach here. Whew. Here's the detailed chart. Can I see it? There we go. So this is week 1. Coke, Chevron. I think this was about where we started messaging each other, and he's like, should I really trade Chevron that whole time? I was like, yeah, dude, it's going well. Here is the options. So this is the stock. Cumulative returns. You can see he was way up here, and then it started to just drag down. He started losing money. He's at, Chevron last week. I love you. Where are you? Sorry. Here's his options, though. Come here. What's wrong? What's wrong? Why are you crying? This is the dog who has seizures. I'm so sorry. When she cries, she gets attention. Oh, I love you. Yes, I know. So yeah, you can see his returns. He's got great returns, and his algorithm's really good. He hasn't shared it with me, but he goes pretty well on this one. And I love you. Can you go out and play with your little sister? I know, that's why I adopted 2 of you, so you can play with each other. I love you, Penny. Okay. You want attention now, too? Here we go. And here's the other one. I know. You just need 2 seconds, and then you're ready to go. There you go. Go and see your sister. But yeah, I like his. You guys should subscribe to him. I got another notification. Oh, he liked my other one. We support each other. Very supportive. Let's look at VXX. What is VXX? I think that's a... Should we trade this one? This is one of the Vanguard ones, I think. Barclays. Oh. Oof. TQQ's got some... Oh, God. The volume's trading. Look, it's outside the Bollinger Band. It's going for a little run here. $22.20. Okay, I think I posted everything. Did you guys want me to look at anything? If not, I'm going to go. It is 39 degrees outside. Oh, you know what's up? Look at this. Let me switch you back. Look at DraftKings, up 1.48%. Look at the current candle. It's in the middle of it's using the 200-day. Exxon. That's what I was going to look at, Al. Devon's up. That's what I was just looking at, Exxon. So here's Exxon. It's pulling it up. Let me make sure I've got my... Okay, we're going to take this volume shelf back here, because that was the last real spike. Here's what you have to see. So Exxon is above the 9-day. See, it's still got a green candle. It kind of touched the Bollinger Band on the afternoon candle yesterday. You've got this gap down here. I'm not necessarily worried about that gap getting filled. This gap was filled on the way up, so you don't have to worry about that gap. it's at its 52-week highs. The volume shelf here is forming at 110. If you break that 110, and you're not breaking it right now, you're at 113. But if you break that 110, you're going down to that 102, I think. There's this little nub at 106. I don't know that that's enough of a volume shelf to stop the trend down. But your RSI is at 60. Look at this. I know. You got to poop, I know. So that's going up. Let me take my dog out to poop. I'll be right back. But look at that. Check out the MACD, and you can look at a little longer term stuff. I think my dog has to poop. That's what they're yelling at me about. Okay. Want to go out now? Let's go. It's freezing cold out. Okay. Sorry about that, Al. I'm back to do Exxon again. Whoop whoop. Okay. Okay. Man, still 9 people watching. So Exxon, if you're in it, Al, stay in it. I own it. Let me tell you how much I own now. Let's look. All investments. Scroll down to the bottom. Tax lots. Whew. I own a lot. It got its ex-dividend date today. Before 11/14. Yeah, so you had to own it before today to get the dividend. Today the dividend will pay out. I think the dividend was taken out of it. It's 0.91 cents. So which means I own a lot of this. Let's just say I own a lot. I'm shocked. That's what I'm shocked at. What? Your taxable accounts may have lost. Huh. Okay. I'll schedule an appointment with Stuart for that one. But Devon's up, Ethereum's up, Etsy's up. Devi's down now. Devon's down. Oil's kind of taking a turn down. AMD is up. I don't know. Honestly, Biden just came out and said there's no imminent threat to Taiwan in his talks with China. So, I mean, that's, do you trust him? I don't trust Xi, but NPLX is 1.15%. So here, MPLX paid out their dividend. So it's a good indication. See, this is a great. They paid out their dividend. So you lose. What's their dividend? Let's see. MPLX. It's a 9.14% dividend. It's a $3.10 dividend per year. So you cut that in a quarter. Is a $33 stock, but that payout on the dividend came out of the stock price. I own this one. I own more than I probably would like to say on this one too. And the reason I own this one is if we go back to, let's go to a weekly. This was about the time when I bought it. So you can see I kind of took that September downturn in tow, but from a weekly perspective, it's still got. Let's look at Exxon on the weekly. I mean, that's a great chart, Exxon, for a short term. But you'll even see, look at the weekly. The weekly is even better. And this is COVID right here. I should say this is COVID March right here. If you bought in March and then you went all the way up in June, you bought in March down here at about 33, you went all the way up in June to 51, and then you came all the way back down to 30. You did a round trip within the year. And then you just took off because we started reopening. Now, when China reopens, if you don't think that this is going to get back to, you're at 52-week high. See, so oil was trading about $80 per barrel here. It's going to be at 120. That's why you're going up here. And your natural gas exposure. Pfizer's up 2.8%. The ARCs are down 2%. Amazon's down 2%. Here's Amazon. This is an interesting one because Amazon's going to go through restructuring. Amazon's going, I shouldn't say restructuring. They're going to let a lot of people go. A lot of people go. The Binance CEO. So if you guys don't know what happened, I mean, there's a great timeline. The Binance CEO and Sam Bankman-Fried, basically Bankman-Fried kind of played chicken with him, and the Binance CEO said, "Oh yeah, you're gonna play chicken? Well, I'm gonna crash your coin, and your coin is what your entire company's based on." Binance isn't built like that, so the guy from Binance knew I can crash Sam Bankman-Fried because the CEO of Binance is actually a Chinese national. And when Bankman-Fried was in Washington last week to kind of lobby Gensler and some of the other regulators, hey, we want to regulate. Well, it wasn't really regulate. It was, we want Binance out of the picture, and we're an American company, and we want to be regulated, but we also want you guys to push these guys out. Well, Binance said, well, maybe we'll go and regulate too. And Sam Bankman-Fried said, hey, we're open to regulation. Are you even allowed in Washington? And the guy got pissed, basically tanked, crashed Sam Bankman-Fried. So it's a good story. I'm telling you, it's going to be the greatest Netflix documentary ever. I'm going to go read my message. I don't want you guys seeing messages. Hi, thank you for following us. I saw that you're interested in options trading and wanted to let you know about our platform and community. We focus on options trading around dates of companies earning a release. Huh. This is interesting. Here, I'll switch back. So their CEO just sent me a earnings watcher, Halloween sale, 30% off lifetime. No. I don't care about a Halloween sale. Yeah. I don't know that I want your... not going to do this. So here's... Guys, anybody that charges you money for stuff... I believe that this guy's probably got a pretty good handle on things. Just when I see Discord group, let's see. Containing a house. I hate these fucking things, by the way. I hate these fucking things. Oh. I am human. Ba 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 ba. Nitro. The fuck? Transpider. I know nothing about Discord. I know nothing about these Discord groups. I think it's just kind of like chats. You guys know anything about Earnings Watcher? I guess I'm in this one now. Office hours. Don't allow. No. I don't care. I guess I'm in here. think I was connected via voice. Guys, this is when a boomer gets online and starts clicking stuff. Was I just hacked by the Chinese? Here's what we have for today. See, here's the thing. Member experience. And it's a bot. Nothing in our insights for today. BAM movers. And 11:12. A good comment on this main welcome post, guys. He's the CEO of this. Do I even want to be involved in this? How do I leave this? Yeah, I'm going to just leave the server. Leave server. I'm going to leave Bank Moves too. Bank Moves was started by a friend. And I posted in there, Devin, MU. Look at that drop. You've since recovered on that. These guys are retail traders. PayPal puts tomorrow, technically. Today. Call outs. Nobody's been in here. $21 bots. Okay. I'm going to leave this group too. Leave server. I think I disconnected I deleted the app off my phone. Dino. Earnings Watcher. Oh. See? Why am I in this one now? CAPTCHA. Launch Pass. I'll keep Braden in there. Nitro. I don't want Nitro. I don't even know what Nitro is. I don't even know anything of this. Okay, I'm out. Yeah. Boomer on show 75 tweets. Let's look. Look at TQQQ move all the way from 22 to 22.45. Kind of stalled out here. Let's check. I think KOLD was the play. We had that buying KOLD earlier today. It's kind of lost its mojo. But Boyle's probably doing the same damn thing. Dear Mr. Musk, please take 10 minutes to get acquainted with the situation in Brazil and the way freedom of expression has been curtailed with the, I hope, inadvertent or maybe disingenuous help of local Twitter and policies and actions. Jesus, you know, Jim Cramer says they should cash out of crypto while they can. This is the guy who bought a freaking farm with his crypto. Yeah, manipulation and yeah. Oh my. Yeah, they started this one. We got to follow this dude. Chairman of O Shares, Beanstalk, CNBC, 4-time. Is this really him? I think it's really him. Yeah, I think it's really him.
Explain how bottoms are made in any market. I don't care if you're in equities or in debt or in crypto or in real estate. You always need a big player to go to zero. That always helps, whether it's long-term capital or
What?
whether it's one of these crypto infrastructure companies. I would like to see, and I don't want this to happen, but it always gives you a good bottom when you get a large player over levered that goes to zero. And that always tends to
Look,
be
he's got a fucking
pretty
pocket
good in the
square.
process. So you
Douche.
have to sacrifice someone who used too much leverage, and it's always leverage that does it. Somebody's over levered, positions are complicated.
See if the haters come out.
Not transparent, they're not liquid, and they go to zero. Someone is out there on the brink of zero. That's okay. In fact, I'd argue that's a good thing when we get it. Now, do we get it this week? Do we get it next week? Someone's going to
Okay,
zero.
I'm not a fan of that guy. I'm just not a fan. Busy retail with 33 market cap reporting earnings per share and 50%, excluding Amazon, Walmart, Target, HD, Lowe's, just a few. I love, you know, I think it was interesting this morning, and now and I know there's some folks who listen to me who are anti Elon. That's fine. Uh, I'm not 100% in agreement with his politics. I think Ron DeSantis is more of a bully than a good politician. Um, but I will tell you one thing that I like about Elon. He's taken on the regulators, meaning that a couple of senators have called him out on Twitter, and he writes back, that doesn't matter. If he were a Chinese citizen, and it would be interesting to see if China calls him out, what his response is. Because while the regulators here could put regulatory hurdles in his way for a lot of things, they can do a lot to hurt his businesses. China, they'll just shut that shit down. So it'd definitely be interesting to see what happens with China when he's doing this. Let's look at the chart of Disney. Still haven't, you know what? Here we go. Look. I think Disney goes on my watch list. I'm going to add this one. Oh, it is on there already. I've had it on not owned. Okay. With that, with you guys being quiet, I'm out. Been on here long enough. Hit me up on the socials. Let me know if you guys need anything. I wanted to show you this too. Let me shrink this down so you can see it. I'm going to show you. Let's see. Are they buying GOOG or GOOGL? Here in TrendSpider, if you go down here on the bottom right on this, yeah. You can see the insider buys. And so GP LFC director, I don't know. They're buying a lot of insiders, insider shares. 10 million, 7 million, 1.4, 1.4. Look, they haven't bought Google all year. The last buy was May from an insider. Nobody's bought it. Nobody's been buying it. Then all of a sudden, we get these buys right here on November 4th, 7th, 8th, and 9th. Let's check GOGL. Boom, bum, 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 bum. Look, 4th, 7th, 8th, and 9th. I mean, they're probably buying just one or the other. They report insider buyings for both. But 88.45, he gapped up here. You got a pretty good run on this one. Baba's running. Let's see if Baba had a cross up yet. We had it way back here at 68. You're at 72. Apple, I think if you hit 150, I think she's right. If you hit 150, you're right about that 200 day. But see here, see how this Bollinger Band's coming in, this Bollinger Band's coming in. You got this gap here between 136 and 140. And that was that day last week. I think it was Wednesday where we gapped up. It's the problem I have with Apple, man. You just got this gap was filled. This gap down right here was filled. This gap down was filled. And so you filled right here at 147. And it provided you some resistance there. Now, the 200-day is pretty clear. It's providing resistance, even though it went out above it. But until you get above it with a sustained rally of more than just one day, this 160 to 163 and these gaps up here at about 170, they're not getting filled until you get above this 150. And then you're off to the races. I think she's right on that one. So, let's see. It's another one that I like. Pan W, their earnings are coming up this week. I own this one. I own it at a much higher price. It's gap filled all over the place. But until you get a sustained rally above this 200 day, that gap here between 185 and 188 isn't coming into play. But you're really not that far off. The Bollinger Bands here are cinching up. They're coming down. You just had this big drop. And now you just had this big recovery. So this one's a good one to trade. Okay. I am out. You guys take care of yourselves. Have a great day.